Live from Red Zone Weather in Bruton, Alabama, with meteorologist Spinks Meganson. A severe weather update starts right now.
Tropical Storm Francine becoming stronger in the western Gulf of Mexico. Francine is moving to the north, and the system continues to become more organized on this Monday evening. Francine will likely be a Category 1 or Category 2 hurricane on approach to the Louisiana coastline as we get into Wednesday. Local impacts possible in South Alabama and Northwest Florida. Heavy rain and potentially a few tornadoes. We've got all the details for you on this Monday evening. I'm meteorologist Spinks Meganson. Thanks for being with us this evening. Let's get in there and talk about it. First thing we need to do is show you the system as it stands right now. And the center of Francine is located just to the southeast of Brownsville. You can see it's a fairly large, expansive cyclone at this point. This is a tropical storm, maximum winds in excess of 50 miles an hour, and the system is going to slowly move to the north over the next several hours before hooking back to the right or to the east and northeast as we get into your Wednesday. It does look like that the landfall point with this storm probably going to happen in the state of Louisiana. But this is a perfect example to say a landfall point is just a singular point. A storm is quite large, as you just saw on the infrared satellite shot. Here's the cone of uncertainty, and again, the center of the storm down here in the western Gulf right now. This is the wind field, and you can see that these impacts will extend beyond the cone of uncertainty. The cone tells us exactly where the center of the storm is going to move, and you can see these wind barbs. These help us understand exactly how large the tropical storm and hurricane force winds will be. In this yellow zone, this is where we're expecting tropical storm force winds, and in that red center zone is where you can expect winds in excess of hurricane force, and that of course is 74 miles per hour. So Francine becoming stronger down here in the western Gulf, pushing toward Louisiana, and the cone really extends from, say, the Texas-Louisiana border back over to Grand Isle. So somewhere here near Morgan City or Intracoastal City is where the landfall point of this storm will probably be. I'm going to reference several graphics this evening from the National Hurricane Center. This is their cone of uncertainty graphic, and you can see we have that red highlighted zone on the Louisiana coast. That is now a hurricane warning, which means hurricane conditions are expected in the next 36 to 48 hours, and that extends from, again, near the Texas-Louisiana border back over to near Grand Isle, pretty much right where the cone of uncertainty is. Hurricane force winds will be possible. Surrounding that, you've also got a tropical storm watch for areas near New Orleans and Lake Pontchartrain, hurricane watch, and a tropical storm warning in place for areas just to the south of New Orleans, and over here on the Texas coast from Houston and Galveston back down to Brownsville could have tropical storm force winds in that part of the world as well. So here's one simulation. This is how it may happen. This is off the Global Forecast System, the GFS. And you can see by the time we get to this time tomorrow night, around 7 and 8 o'clock, going to have some rain, even locally, probably down around the coast. By 10 a.m. Wednesday, the core of the storm approaching the Louisiana coast, probably somewhere here between Lake Charles back over to Intracoastal City. Grand Isle and Morgan City kind of in the bullseye zone, as is Baton Rouge farther inland. And this zone in Louisiana, from New Orleans back over to Baton Rouge, is kind of going to be your hot spot where we could see the greatest impacts from what will be Hurricane Francine at that point. I want you to notice, yes, we will have bands feeding in here, storm bands feeding in here from the south, even after that circulation center ejects to the northeast. And so what that means, get ready for the potential for isolated tornadoes. We could have heavy rain that could lead to some flash flooding, although just to be real with you, I think this will be a beneficial rain event across the region, but especially Wednesday night into Thursday, a few tornadoes possible. And I kind of want to break down the risk and go through each one. Firstly, let's talk about the tornado risk. Along and east of the center of circulation, that's where we're expecting the biggest risk for tornadoes, as is pretty much always the case with tropical systems. Level 2 out of 5 severe weather risk, in this case it's a tornado risk, is in place for places like New Orleans all the way over to near Baton Rouge. You've also got areas here near Ocean Springs, and also areas near Biloxi involved in that level 2 out of 5 tornado risk. You see our zone here in South Alabama, Northwest Florida, and also much of southern Mississippi. You got that low end level 1 out of 5 severe weather risk. And what that means, a few brief spin up tornadoes going to be possible in here Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. And so what I'm telling you, have a way to get those urgent weather warnings on Wednesday night before you go to sleep. It's so important to have a way to hear warnings, a few tornadoes possible. This is going to be the good news. This is going to be a good beneficial rain, 2 to 4 inches of rain possible across the region, greater rain amounts back to the west. And so what that means, if you're in Thomasville, Chatham, back down to Mobile, we're talking 3, 4, 5 inches of rain. Farther to the east, Bruton, Evergreen, Greenville, areas near Crestview, probably going to have 2 inches of rain. So generally speaking, the farther west you go, closer to that center of circulation, the greater odds that you have higher rain amounts of 5, 6, maybe even 7 inches of rain back here in parts of Mississippi and Louisiana. In terms of the wind impact, this is going to be a big deal for the state of Louisiana, potentially parts of southwest Mississippi as well. But you see our area here, southwest Alabama and northwest Florida, really only involved in that very low probability zone for tropical storm force winds. And so I'm really not expecting big wind impacts across Alabama or northwest Florida with this system. Yes, we could have a few brief spin up tornadoes, but the greater wind issues and wind damage will probably happen back in through here in parts of southern Louisiana. That core zone is going to extend from Lake Charles back over to Baton Rouge and back down to Houma, Louisiana. That's going to be the core danger zone with Francine as the system moves north. And that same area from Cameron back over to areas near Intracoastal City and Morgan City involved in that high surge 5 to 10 feet zone. And so big storm coming for Louisiana. But look, for us in Alabama and northwest Florida, we're not even on the map at this point for surge, I should say. And so hopefully we'll keep it that way. Could have maybe 1 to 2 feet of surge, maybe near Dauphin Island, but even that might be kind of a stretch. Big surge zone in through here back in Louisiana. We're also tracking 2 other tropical systems as we approach the peak of hurricane season in 2 days. Yes, we're already at the peak. 2 tropical waves, one of which about halfway between the Lesser Antilles and Africa. The other is situated near the Cabo Verde Islands. Both have medium to high chances of developing in the days ahead, but no imminent concerns from those systems. Here's your next 7 days, and this is actually a situation that is showing an old 7-day forecast. So I tell you what, we'll scrub that for now and come back to the 7-day forecast tomorrow morning. We'll have an updated look at the 7-day forecast in tomorrow's video. But again, hurricane, or I should say tropical storm Francine, on its way to becoming a hurricane, set to move north in the days ahead, likely to make landfall along the Louisiana coast as a Cat 2 hurricane, max winds around 90 to 100 miles per hour. Greatest danger zone is going to be right in through here along and just to the east of that center of circulation. Tornadoes, damaging winds, also a good bit of flash flooding concerns very near the Mississippi River in the days ahead. And for us in South Alabama and Northwest Florida, it's a lower end risk of hazards. And so again, maybe a few tornadoes, heavy rain that could lead to flash flooding, not really as concerned about wind impacts or storm surge impacts in our region. Again, I'll have your full forecast in the daily morning video posted, of course, at 7:15 a.m. in the next regularly scheduled video as we look at the latest on Tropical Storm Francine. And you can download our free Red Zone Weather app. It's free on iOS and on Google Play in the respective app stores. Make sure you turn on alerts to get all of those as we go through this storm in the next 72 hours. Francine posed to move to our west in the hours ahead, just to our west, missing us by a hair over in Louisiana and Mississippi. On behalf of all of us at Red Zone Group LLC, I'm meteorologist Spinks Megginson saying goodbye for now. Hope you have a wonderful Monday evening. All right.
Be sure to find us across social media, and don't forget to download the free Red Zone Weather app and set up your customized alerts. Please support our Red Zone Weather sponsors who make our coverage possible every single day.